Have you ever wondered, as I get older, my joints seem to hurt and I'd like to know how I could be able to deal with it? Well, in this episode, we do a great interview with someone who helps us think through how can we be able to deal with joint pain and be able to do so without having to use medicine. We hope you enjoy this interview. We hope it also helps you to have a nice, safe, secure retirement.
To learn more about securing your retirement and all the different elements you need to know, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified when we post a video every Monday. We have helped hundreds of our clients gain clarity and get on the path to a comfortable and happy retirement. Now it's your turn. Let's dive in.
Welcome, everyone, to our podcast. We are very happy to have you with us today. You know, our name of our podcast is Secure Your Retirement. And we talk about three different topics: financial, legacy, and then lifestyle. And today is a lifestyle episode. And we have with us all the way from Canada, Kathy White. So first of all, Kathy, thank you so much for coming on and having a conversation with us today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. So one of your mantra is move well, live well, and age well with yoga. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you do that. But one of the things that I read when I was looking at some of your information, which I just think kind of resonated with me because I too am having some joint issues with my knees in particular. But you said, here's something you say how to WD-40 your joints, reduce pain and gain mobility as you age. So could you kind of tell us maybe a little bit of like what your thought process is around that and how things work and how you are able to help somebody in all essence get their joints moving or can continue to moving?
Sure. Yeah. Well, just to give a brief background, for me, I've been teaching yoga for over 20 years, practicing yoga for nearly 30 years. And when I came up to being 50, and going through, for women, we have this menopausal phase. Going through that time in my life, my joints started really aching. And it was kind of embarrassing, to be honest, because I was a yoga teacher. It's like, what the heck? Why are my joints really sore here when I'm doing all this yoga? So I then had to go back to the drawing board and really explore and investigate. And I tried to find other teachers from the yoga field that would help me and inform me. And so I kind of brought in all the wisdom I could. And what I found was that stretching, which is typically what yoga teachers try and teach, and lengthening and going and pushing and going further into poses, actually was not helping joints. That what joints need when you do the research is movement. They need movement, but they also need pressure, like a healthy kind of pressure. So what we do is we create the conditions and hold poses, very simple poses. So not complicated, these fancy poses you see on Instagram or anything else. Very simple poses, can be done in a chair even, but you create the atmosphere of pressure in the joint, hold that for a period of time, so that you're actually almost squeezing the blood out of the joint. And then when you release, that's when the blood can flush back in, clear the toxins out, and bring a sense of renewal. And the other aspect of the practice is that many of us live in quite a heightened state of alert in our lives. That, people talk about stress, talk about adrenal fatigue, because we're all super active and busy. And, one of the things about retirement is, I'll be able to rest, I'll be able to calm down a bit. Well, what I teach is how to calm the nervous system down within the practice, because healing happens when we're in parasympathetic nervous system mode. If we're in our sympathetic nervous, which is the sort of fight and flight referred to in the medical sort of field, but actually most of us are in a sympathetic mode. We're kind of active, busy, and our body isn't able to restore or heal in that mode. So in your yoga practice, if you can come onto the mat and just do some simple moves, but be conscious of the breath, calm down, then the body can heal. So whatever going on in the joints has a chance to restore and rejuvenate.
Okay, well, good. I like that. Kathy, thanks for giving us that background and a little bit of an overview of as to what you do. And I think so what you're saying, it's a little bit different than traditional yoga. It's yoga kind of focused on how to really make it adapt to help your joint health, which I think is it's key. It's key for someone as they age. And I like that you use the WD-40. I think everyone knows what WD-40 is. You spray it on anything that's squeaking, and as we age, our joints start to squeak a little bit too, and they get a little bit tougher to move. And so that's great. There's one thing that you talk about, which is the 3 C's for joint renewal. And I guess you go into how do you turn this into more of a habitual practice that you can really stick to throughout your life. Maybe you start in your 30s or 40s, or maybe you don't start until you're in your 60s. But how do you?
Like my dad, he started at age 87.
Wow.
So there you go. Never too late to start.
Yeah. So tell us about those 3 C's for someone that maybe hasn't started at all, but they feel like they're aging, they feel it physically, and they want to get into something, and maybe they decide yoga's adapting any type of new thing that you're not used to. Building the habit can be very difficult to make sure you're consistently doing it. So tell us about those 3 C's.
So the first C is all about that, because that's commitment. Like, you really have to show up for yourself and to see your practice. I think why people fail at getting onto their mat is their nervous system is too, and I noticed this myself, my nervous system is too active. If I'm in my busy mode, if I'm kind of like do, it's really hard for me to actually go, okay, I need to do some yoga. But that's the exact moment where I do need to get on my mat. So commitment is to say, okay, I'm going to show up on my mat. And one thing I have, which, listeners, I would suggest you could do just as a daily practice, is have 5 minutes a day where you just put your legs up the wall. Just lie horizontal on the ground. And even if you're not easily getting up and down off the ground, lie on your bed, but turn yourself around so you have your legs up on the wall where your bed head is. And that position in itself is hugely calming to the nervous system. It does amazing things to the heart and the circulatory system. It helps the endocrine system. It's like you're very passive. So, this mindset that we have to be doing something to heal or to move or to whatever, it's like, no, actually we have to be doing nothing. Just put your legs up the wall. So commitment, I would say, if you could commit to that alone, would be amazing. You'd see amazing benefits. Another one is courage. And why I put this as one of my 3 C's would be because when we age, a lot of us become a little fearful of our bodies. We don't quite trust the body in the same way that we do. We get nervous, we get fearful. It's like, oh, what does that mean? We're kind of aging. We're aware of these, myriad of diseases that permeate through our friends and family. And so, is that what I'm going to get? We feel a joint and we think it's all downhill from there. If you feel your knees, as you said earlier, it's like, oh, it's only going to get worse. So courage is having the courage to actually face those restrictions, those obstacles, those tightnesses, those tensions. Maybe there's a past injury, maybe there's a hereditary pattern. And the courage is to actually say, I'm going to face this. I'm going to go and do my practice and spend some time breathing with my body and notice these tightnesses or tensions, because so many of us will pop a pill, go do something, have a glass of wine, avoid it, and never really come and have the courage to actually face it directly and just be with ourselves in our own bodies. And the courage to face it with your own awareness, I'm not saying don't see a doctor or don't whatever, but often we'll hand over our responsibility for healing to somebody else, to a healthcare professional. It's like, no, we want to work in tandem with any information they can give us, but actually take full responsibility ourselves. So that's the courage part.
Very good. So what would you say to somebody who maybe has tried what they've, said is yoga before, and they just didn't like it. They hated it. And here you're saying, hey, this is something that could help your joints. And the person's like, it didn't help my joints, or I didn't like the moves, or it just wasn't fun for me.
Yeah, I would say find a teacher who works for you. Like, really look hard, because there are so many different styles of yoga. I would veer towards restorative or yin, the slower practices. That's kind of more helpful. And unfortunately, yoga has been adopted by the fitness industry, and it's become, this is what we see on Instagram and all the things. It's become this kind of fast-paced workout kind of modality. And actually, I mean, I think you mentioned traditional yoga earlier. Like, to me, what I'm teaching is more in the keeping of, if you go back to the Yoga Sutras and go back to what it is you're actually doing, is connecting body and mind and spirit. It's a deeply spiritual practice, but not with any denomination, not with any particular faith or whatever. It's just bringing yourself to yourself and creating wholeness and healing, so that you're a much better, more alive person who can go into life and be of service to your family, to your community, to your people. And so, yeah, I think all of that is in the practice. But search around. If you hate yoga, try a different, come to one of my classes, try a different teacher until you find the right one, because you will find the right teacher for you if you keep looking. And one of my favorite poses that I teach in yoga, really, 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 really important pose, is to smile. The lip pose. So keeping a smile on your face as you practice. And sometimes I see my students, it's more of a grimace, but no, that's just keeping that sense of lightness with your person. So it's not so serious. It's a smile. It's like, oh, isn't this lovely to move in my body and be aware of it. So yeah. And coming back to the I think we only just did 2 C's.
Yeah, I was going to ask about the third C.
Yeah, so we did. There are actually 7 C's.
Oh wow.
Which I do my 7C challenge every couple of months. I'll put on a challenge, and you can join me for that. So if you get on my mailing list, I'll send you the details of that for any listeners interested in that. But the sorry, my microphone is just.
Yeah, you're back now.
They're back now. Okay. So yeah, there's 7. There's actually 7. So I'm just going over 3 today. But what I would say, what I'll choose for my third one that I'll share with you today: commitment, courage, and care. So care is really something that we want to be kind. Like so many of these yoga practices or fitness things that we push, we think we've got this bigger, better, faster, more kind of mentality. So what I invite my students to do is be kind, take care, because that's sustainable. If my dad at age 87 was coming to yoga and had that push mentality, there's no way he would have the commitment to show up. I keep reminding him, even though he's, years of pushing and being in business and all the rest of it, but now in his old age, now he's 91, he's still practicing 4 years later. He's taking care. He's taking care, and he's in a stiff old body. He doesn't move very much, but he's taking care. And every time he comes to a yoga class, there's a sense of caring for himself and a kindness. So that is another really important one of the 7 C's, but 3 for today.
Yeah, and I think those C's they seem very important. I think when anyone tries to do something new, you're not going to be great at it when you first start it, and that can be something that deters people from continuing to try it, because they try one session and they hated it, right? Or they didn't feel like they could do it, or they weren't good at it. And it takes time to learn some of these moves and flexibilities and all that stuff. So having the commitment to it, and I think is really important, kind of saying, hey, I'm going to give this a good solid month of trying it out, and you'll see progression. And that's where I think when you see progression, that's where you actually start to fall in love with something, but it takes time to see that.
Exactly, exactly. And, this is a lifelong practice. It's not like something I'm just going to do this for a couple of weeks and then stop, or I'm going to do it until I get the results I want and then stop. No, like WD-40 your joints, it's like you add engine to the motor of your car, because it needs regularly maintaining. You have to change the filters, you have to change the oil. It's like the yoga practice is a consistent thing. You keep having to flush those joints out, because the body does create toxins. So you need to have a practice that is consistent and will last for longevity. And so making it, having the care, how slowing things down so that you will continue with it, and with a smile on your face, and you're happy to get on your mat, is really, really important.
And how does someone dive into this if, say, they have a previous injury, or maybe they had a knee replacement or hip replacement or something like that? Is it still possible for them to take something like yoga up?
Oh, certainly. I mean, certainly with the system I teach, obviously there are other types of yoga out there that I would actually, say, no, don't go there. But with the joint renewal system, and which is based on a combination of Scaravelli yoga, for people who are interested in yoga history and backgrounds, Vanda Scaravelli, who worked with Iyengar, and Kayut yoga, which comes from Brazil. Like, the combination of those two is what I've developed my joint renewal system from. And those practices are so different, that if you have a joint replacement, then what we're trying to do is notice what's different about, if it's one side and then not the other, what's different, what's the asymmetry in the body. We're noticing the range of movement. A lot of people after a knee replacement can't bend beyond 90 degrees in the knees, which is fine. So we work with that. We use props, we use chairs to help you still get inside those joints, but maybe not to the same degree, but to remove any image of what you think you should be doing, and just meet yourself where you actually are, and really engage in the body that you do have.
Very nice. So you mentioned some time ago in conversation, you said you could come to one of my classes. Now you're in you said Vancouver Island. They're in Canada. So how could somebody? We're in North Carolina. We have listeners all over. How do you help people, yourself and your practice, and how you teach people? What are the ways that people could work with you?
Sure. Well, what I would say is, first of all, if you go to my website, you can download a joint renewal, the free joint renewal guide. So www.kathywhiteyoga.com. If you go there, and on the front page, there's a sign up form. So that will give you access to my free membership area, inside which you can download the guide. But I've also got some videos you can watch, and just familiarize yourself, just to kind of absorb this information I've shared here, but absorb a little bit more, because for many people, it's like reinventing yoga in their minds. It's like, erase all those Instagram images of young 20 bendy people and those complicated poses, because this practice is really breaking it. We go to the foundations of yoga, the very simple beginnings of how do you fold your wrist, how does the wrist work, how does the shoulder work, and we do poses exploring that. And then once you've familiarized yourself, then on my website, again, if you want to come to a class, you can book a class. If you want to join the full membership rather than just free membership, if you want to pay for full membership, there's lots of classes, videos you can watch and practice through recordings, or practice live if you want to come to Zoom classes as well.
Okay, well, great. Well, we'll be sure to have your website in our show notes, as well as our blog post later on when we release the episode. But thank you for coming on today, Kathy. Thanks for talking to us about your approach to yoga and mobility. I know it's going to be very fruitful for our listeners. So thanks for your time today.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
We hope this video has given you some confidence and clarity as you plan for a worry-free life in retirement. But what else do you need? We have created a complimentary video course called 3 Keys to Secure Your Retirement. This video walks you through step by step what you need to do to get ready for retirement. You can also check out our podcast called Secure Your Retirement. You can subscribe below.
For more retirement tips, watch this video. Create your retirement income plan. Also, click here to subscribe to our podcast, Secure Your Retirement. If you like this video, hit the like button and be sure to subscribe and share it with your friends.